simultaneously watching Jake Paul and then watching the replay of the massacre, the the D-Town massacre via Terrence Crawford, in which Terrence Crawford beat down Errol Spence, beat him from pillar to post, you know. But at the same time, I was watching Jake Paul and Nate Diaz. Um, at the end of the day, the end results was how we expected to be, where Jake Paul wins a unanimous decision and fails to knock out a damn near 40-year-old Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz was just clowning around. You could tell he was a guy that came there for a check. And it was kind of funny whenever Nate Diaz wasn't clowning around, strutting, thinking he was, Ric Flair. I think sometimes he got the boxing match, mixed up for a wrestling match or one of his fights. But Jake Paul further continues to prove what a fraud he is and lightweight what a coward he is. This dude sits around asking, demanding people give him props and respect him for being a so-called professional fighter. Jake Paul needs to stop calling himself a professional fighter when he continues to fight past their prime MMA fighters. Once again, if Diaz had halfway decent boxing skills and he was doing okay at times, knowing that he really didn't have that much boxing experience, and he still was able to land some shots on Jake Paul. And this is what I've been saying about Jake Paul: a half decent professional fighter will destroy Jake Paul. Jake Paul is sitting up here basically defrauding the people of money because he doesn't take any risks. He puts himself in positions for winnable fights. You see the last chance that he took, he lost. I know he's going to say he wants. I even turned it off before he even got to the post-fight interview. He's going to act like he wants to fight Fury again. And he may try to fight the other dude. I forgot what the other dude's name is. The other brother, I forgot what his name is. But he'll get beat by Fury again. But people continue to dish out their hard-earned money to see this BS with him. Jake Paul shouldn't even be taken serious as a professional fighter. He's not a professional fighter. If he wants to call himself a celebrity boxer, then he should. But stop calling yourself a professional fighter when you're not a professional fighter. You're not, man. And I don't care if people come on here and say, oh, you're hating on Jake Paul and all this kind of stuff. You couldn't do what Jake Paul did. Well, if I had the resources and I was sitting up here very carefully selecting who I get in the ring with, I actually could do what Jake Paul did. And I'm just keeping it a buck. He doesn't want to take any risks. No, he shouldn't be respected as a fighter, and no, he should be criticized. Now, I know the people that's calling the fight got to do what they're getting paid to do, which is embrace and endorse and give him credit, which they shouldn't. But, they getting paid to do that. That's their job, to basically enhance and basically get people to believe what Jake Paul doing is legit, and it's not legit. It's just complete BS, and it just got to be said. This isn't boxing. It isn't boxing what he's doing. Badu Jack right now could beat Jake Paul at age 40. And I think Jake Paul knows it. But Jake Paul, what he'll do is he'll try to put stipulation after stipulation, and this dude walks around here like, oh, I deserve respect. I'm a fighter. You're not a fighter, man. You're a damn celebrity. You're a failed actor acting as if you're a professional boxer, because you're not. I've seen enough of this. I'm not gonna continue to even waste my time like covering this dude because why should I? It's pretty much predetermined who's gonna win the fight, and that's why Jake Paul continues to put himself in the ring with these dudes. Okay, how many of these you done? You like what 7, 8 fights in? Now it's time to start fighting actual boxers. You like 6'1"? Why don't you go fight at 175? Why don't you call? Why don't you call Eddie Hearn and ask him to put you in the ring with Edgar Berlanga, and y'all can fight at a catch weight of maybe you can fight at a catch weight of maybe 180. I'm pretty sure Edgar Berlanga would take that fight, and Edgar Berlanga would kick Jake Paul's ass. Like I said, a half decent fighter would beat up Jake Paul and beat him up with ease. I'm talking about he's slow, he's lethargic. I mean, he's mechanical, cock sometimes, he's throwing punches. So I mean, a guy could just get on the inside and just tear Jake Paul up with a decent up-down attack. If you have decent range, you could beat Jake Paul. If you got on the inside and had short range, going to the body, going upstairs, hitting them with uppercuts, hitting them with hooks. I mean, Jake Paul is subjectable to be hit with basically any punch you want to throw. He has no defense whatsoever. I mean, Jake Paul doesn't have any. When I say Jake Paul doesn't have any type of defense, he has no defense whatsoever. He would be target practice. Like I said, somebody like Arthur Better Beat would put Jake Paul in a coma if he wouldn't literally like take his life. But he won't ever get in the ring with a guy like that. And I know what he's trying to do. He's basically trying to keep fighting these type of dudes, hoping that he'll get the call to fight somebody like Canelo. He get a big payday, get a $40 million payday, and get the hell beat out of him, and then just, walk off into the sunset, and I guess start putting out a bunch of BS movies. Because that's what he really wants to do. Build himself as a boxer, and then I guess he go back to trying to act. But if anybody don't see what this guy is doing, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry. I would never pay money. I would never pay money to see Jake Paul fight. I wouldn't pay for a ticket. I wouldn't pay for a pay-per-view. At the end of the day, I streamed this fight because that's exactly what he deserves. You should not pay your hard-earned money to see a circus like this. I think right about now, if Conor McGregor, if the weight is right, I think Conor McGregor probably could take Jake Paul. Let's see what happens with Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. If Francis Ngannou has a decent showing versus Tyson Fury, which I don't think he will, Jake Paul might call him for a fight. But that's what he does. When is this dude gonna actually start calling out actual professional fighters? He won't. He won't. He sits up there, starts talking all this junk like he's just that dude, like he just, making an impact, like he fighting the best dudes out there. And then he sits up here and demands respect. Nobody got to respect that dude for what he's doing. This is a bozo circus sideshow, and everybody knows it. Jake Paul is not gonna fight him. Jake Paul put up every obstacle in the way to make sure that Hassan wouldn't make weight and all this kind of stuff. He was trying to wait. He was literally trying to weight drain him and stuff. So I don't want to hear this stuff about what he was about to fight an actual boxer. Yeah, with every stipulation you can think of, basically trying to just have him to the point to where he has basically no steam in his punches. Like I said, Jake Paul, if he doesn't have an edge, he's not going to take it. And I don't even think it's a guarantee he would have got past Rockman. If Rockman is so big, I just think it's difficult for him to try to come in under 200 pounds. He the best he could probably do is 210, 215. But Jake Paul is not going to go that far up in weight. I mean, he walks around maybe at best 205, but like I said, him going up to heavyweight, that's not going to happen. Like I said, the average half decent boxer anywhere from 160 to 175 would work Jake Paul. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Terrence Crawford could beat Jake Paul. I think Bud could go into a fight with Jake Paul and beat the living hell out of him. But I know Bud wouldn't entertain that because his haters would sit up there and start crying about it because at the end of the day, that's what these dudes do. Now, if Errol Spence did it, they'll say this is the greatest thing they ever saw. But the Errol Spence fans somewhere continuing to make excuses, after that, drumming that Errol Spence took last week. That's the fight that would be a fight I wouldn't mind seeing Terrence Crawford beat the living hell out of Jake Paul, basically end his career, basically humiliate him. But Bud wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it because he respect the game of boxing too. He respect the game of boxing too much. He wouldn't do it. So I'm just saying, just continuing to just watch this dude. Why are people even talking about this dude? And I know Alicia Baumgardner and Sean Porter were calling the fight, but they probably when they mics wasn't known and probably after the fight was over, they probably was just like, oh my God. And they just keep putting this dude on TV. They keep trying to insult our intelligence by trying to sell this dude to the public as a actual fighter. Like I said before, Jake Paul wants to label himself a celebrity boxer, then I'm fine with that. But stop calling yourself a professional prize fighter when you only had one actual fight with a part-time professional fighter and you lost that fight. But you keep fighting these past their prime MMA guys, and you running out of these dudes to fight. At the end, you're gonna have to start getting in the ring with actual fighters, and he's gonna and his excuse making and him sitting up here getting on these having you know getting on here sitting up saying, hey, it was a hard fight, and I need to get my respect. I deserve respect. Stop getting on the podium like demanding and asking for respect when you don't deserve it. You haven't earned it. You don't deserve the respect. People are tired of seeing this. Cover his fights anymore. I don't want to cover his fights no more. And I'm not going to keep talking about him because that's the problem. We are giving this dude undeserving attention when he continues to basically deceive and fraud and cheat the public out of good money by continuing to fight these guys that he know that he has a far better advantage of winning the fight versus losing. And then even when he gets in these fights, you see some vulnerabilities that basically a real actual fighter would exploit. And Jake Paul, I think he knows it. But at the end of the day, people are gonna have to stop like paying him no mind. I'm sorry. Nate Diaz was there to get paid. He was there to get paid. He wasn't even taking this fight serious. You seen some of his antics with him walking around doing the pimp strut and all that kind of stuff. And I don't even know why E40 wasted his time even coming to a event like that. I know he might have got, I know he might have got a check to come there and make an appearance and basically, you know, try to add some legitimacy to this fight. But at the end of the day, you saw what it was. It was a and you will just continue to come such disbelief on how one-sided the fight was, where I wasn't surprised by the outcome. I wasn't surprised by the outcome at all. I just was like, okay, it went exactly how I thought it would go. I thought it would be a stoppage. I thought maybe Errol Spence would win maybe 2 or 3 rounds, but I didn't think at the very best, worst and best case scenario, he may have won 1 round out of 9. So, I mean, it didn't come to no surprise to me at all. I always knew that Spence was gonna lose to Terrence Crawford. I always knew Terrence Crawford would beat Errol Spence if they fought. I saw it 5 years ago at the Jeff Horn fight. I knew right then and there that Terrence Crawford could beat Errol Spence. And you saw it. Terrence Crawford had an answer for everything Errol Spence did. Errol Spence landed a couple of decent shots. Even when, he landed a nice shot to, Terrence Crawford's neck, but Terrence Crawford landed that uppercut, which Errol Spence was already on his way down. Terrence Crawford took Errol Spence's best shots. So all this stuff about Terrence Crawford having a glass jaw and all that stuff, well, that's been debunked. Because keep in mind, just 2 weeks ago, you saw Ellie Setback and, other people putting up videos about Errol Spence's putting dents in the heavy bag. And we all know heavy bags don't hit back. But the thing is, Terrence Crawford put dents in Errol Spence's face. So that's a big difference. So all this stuff about something was wrong with Errol Spence. The only thing that was wrong with Errol Spence, reality sunk in with Errol Spence. I saw a lack of confidence when Errol Spence was walking to the ring. Errol Spence wasn't that sure of himself. I just could see it in his eyes that there was a little bit of fear in Errol Spence's eyes. You could tell when somebody is thinking and reality hit them and they're like, the moment has come. I didn't see no confidence in Errol Spence whatsoever. Now, I know some of his fans don't want to hear it while they still walking around thinking that they can try to bully people and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know how I got to tell you dudes. I'm going to say what I want to say and I'm going to post what I want to post. One dude thought he was scaring somebody. And like I said, you can post pictures of Homer Simpson all you want. But at the end of the day, you know, nobody can't Debo me. And I guess you forgot that Debo got put to sleep by a dude that was smaller than him. So all the internet Debos, fake bodybuilders and all that kind of stuff, ain't nobody worried about you or your over-the-counter steroids. That don't mean nothing when you get, you know what I'm saying? That don't mean nothing. Skills pay the bills. So, with that being said, you just getting back to Jake Paul, please stop giving this dude attention. Jake Paul needs to be called out And this is one of the problems with boxing. A lot of these fighters have this want to have this fake oath that they don't, that they don't have to criticize and critique certain boxers or certain boxers that's bringing certain antics to boxing, just like this BS with Carissa Shields talking about she want to fight Keith Thurman. Carissa Shields, just please stop it. You embarrassing yourself. Okay, just stop it. And you putting everybody in a bad position. You really are. But Jake Paul, I'm not giving this dude no more attention, and I mean it because I just seen enough of this. I had a little bit of interest for Nate Diaz, and I just wanted to show a little support for Nate Diaz because Northern California, you know, and Nate Diaz beat Stockton, Stockton, it's like that's almost an hour drive outside of Oakland. It's about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on which way you go and what time you leave. So just wanted to show a little support, but based off what I saw watching the fight, I was like, all right, I've seen enough of this. And there's gonna be people that's gonna sit up here and they gonna side with Jake Paul, and they gonna say that people are picking on Jake Paul and people are hating on Jake Paul. And I'm tired of people sitting up here acting like you can't criticize somebody. I'm tired of people saying somebody is hating on somebody. Where does it say that you have to like everything? That's the whole idea. You watch something, if you watch a certain movie, you take the chance. When you go to the movies, you take a chance of paying $10 to $20, and you get to decide why you don't like it. And you happen to go to this restaurant and you don't like the service and you criticize the bad service. That doesn't mean you're hating. You're basically pointing out things that you find wrong. How do people acting like you can't say anything? And that's the damn problem. It's a difference between hating. Now, if you go into something you don't know what it's about and you just find there's something wrong, that's what you would call hating. But to sit up there, you've seen this with this dude so many times. You've tried to give this dude a chance. You tried to get on board with this dude, but he just keep, recycling this same formula. This same formula. We're fighting these dudes that's past their prime, or dudes that's just looking for a big payday. Pull no punch. Well, there's no hope for Jake Paul versus an action fighter. So, I'm just saying, why is Bum continuing to attach him to professional boxing when he's clearly not a professional boxer? But this is the thing that gets guys like me in trouble, because I'm not on board with this. I'm not on board with this. I've seen enough of this. At the end of the day, I was invited to go cover this fight, and I changed my mind, kind of stuff. And I changed my mind. I was just like, I'm not gonna send nobody here. I don't want to attach myself to this stuff. Because I damn go fly down to Dallas for this. Well, if he fight KSI, then okay, fine, so be it. But call it what it is. Just say that you are a celebrity boxer, because that's what Jake Paul is. He was a failed Disney actor that became a content creator, and then he transitioned into boxing. Listen, I understand. Yeah, Jake Paul, he loves boxing. That's fine. And what you did is you found a way to get into professional boxing, or so-called professional boxing. You created your own You created like your own enterprise, your own entity, and you calling it professional fight, prize fighting without actually fighting professional boxers. So I give him credit for his hustle, but me, I don't want to be part of it. I'm good. I've seen enough of this. Um, I'm good. I will not continue to sit up here and give this dude any more publicity that he doesn't deserve. Now, if he fights an actual fighter again, then I'm on board. If he fights KSI, I might would be interested in watching him fight KSI because they're both content creators. So that would be a little bit different. But I'm not watching him fight any more MMA fighters. And this just proves something else about MMA fighters, that professional boxing and mixed martial arts are two different entities. You just can't jump into professional boxing from MMA, and you just can't jump into MMA from professional boxing. You see, when James Toney tried to do MMA, he tried to have one MMA fight and it didn't, and he fought Randy Couture and he ended up losing. Now, had him and Randy Couture had a professional boxing match, James Toney probably would have beat the living hell out of Couture. It's two different types of training, two different types of regimen and conditioning, getting you in different type of preparation. And that's what people have to understand. And we all know that these, for the most part, we all know that these MMA fighters, and I'm just going to say it, they're not putting forth their best effort. Nate Diaz was out there clowning. He was clowning. He was doing what he got paid to do, making entertaining, strutting, playing around. But, don't win the fight. And he hit Jake Paul with some stuff that bothered Jake Paul. So I was just thinking, had he actually really trained for this fight, who knows what would have happened. But he served his purpose. He was there to get a check and have people continuing to talk about Jake Paul and try to celebrate Jake Paul like he's just doing something phenomenal and monumental. When at the end of the day, this is just a circus and this is just a con job. This is like one step under the WWE. We all know in the WWE the outcome is predetermined, it's scripted. Well, this is damn near scripted. Gotta say it. Gotta keep it 100. I'm sorry if I'm the only one that have the guts to just basically say what this is. And I know, like I said, people are going to come trolling and talking shit. Fine. I'm okay with that. Not worried about it. But like I said right now, Jake Paul is a complete fraud and it just need to be said. He's just a fraud. Like I said, stop calling this dude a professional boxer because he isn't. He's a celebrity boxer. That's it. That's all. Anyway, I'm out.